Hello students, in the last video we have started the topic of spermatogenesis, and the spermatogenesis is also known as process of development of sperm in the male reproductive system, or process of development of sperm inside the testis is known as spermatogenesis. And we said that spermatogenesis begins at the age of puberty. Spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty. When hypothalamus gets activated, it releases a hormone called gonadotropin releasing hormone. This gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates anterior pituitary to release gonadotropins. Okay, so gonadotropin releasing hormone will stimulate the anterior pituitary, and then anterior pituitary will release two hormones in form of gonadotropin hormone. Okay, so these two hormones are follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Okay, then this luteinizing hormone will travel to the testis and it will act on the interstitial cell of the testis or Leydig cell of the testis. Okay, after being released from anterior pituitary, the luteinizing hormone will reach to the testis and it will act on the interstitial cell of the testis or on the Leydig cell of the testis, and then it will stimulate the Leydig cell to release testosterone. Okay, so luteinizing hormone which gets released from the anterior pituitary will migrate to the testis. It will act on the Leydig cell or interstitial cell and stimulate it to release the testosterone, and this testosterone then goes into the seminiferous tubule. Testosterone will travel into the seminiferous tubule, and there it will initiate the mitosis of spermatogonia. Okay, so in this manner, the mitosis in spermatogonia begins, at that time the spermatogenesis starts. Okay, so the process of spermatogenesis begins when the mitosis of spermatogonia begins. Okay, so testosterone which gets secreted from the Leydig cell or interstitial cell will come out from that, and it will go into the seminiferous tubule, and then it will initiate mitosis of the spermatogonia. And when the mitosis of spermatogonia starts, the process of spermatogenesis begins. Okay, and then after mitosis, the spermatogonia will give rise to primary spermatocyte. After mitosis, spermatogonia will give rise to primary spermatocytes, and these primary spermatocytes are diploid in number because they are developed by mitosis from spermatogonia, and spermatogonia are also diploid in number. So as they are produced by mitosis, primary spermatocytes are diploid in number. They are having 46 chromosomes in their nucleus. Okay, now these primary spermatocytes will pass through two rounds of meiosis. Okay, it will pass through two rounds of meiosis, that is meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. After the completion of meiosis 1, the primary spermatocyte will give rise to secondary spermatocyte. Okay, after the first round of meiosis, the primary spermatocyte will give rise to secondary spermatocyte, and as the meiosis 1 is reductional division, the secondary spermatocyte will be haploid in number. Okay, primary spermatocyte was diploid in number, but secondary spermatocyte will be haploid in number because round 1 of meiosis is reductional division. So secondary spermatocytes will have half number of chromosome as compared to the primary spermatocyte. Okay, so secondary spermatocyte will have half number of chromosome. It will have 23 number of chromosome. Then this secondary spermatocyte passes through the second round of meiosis, which is known as meiosis 2, and after that it will produce spermatids. Okay, two secondary spermatocytes are there, and these two secondary spermatocytes will complete second round of meiosis, and then they will produce 4 spermatids. So in overall 4 spermatids are produced from the primary spermatocyte. 4 spermatids are produced from the primary spermatocyte. Now these spermatids will get embedded in the Sertoli cells. Okay, spermatids will get embedded in the Sertoli cells, and these Sertoli cells will give nourishment to the spermatids. Sertoli cells will give nourishment to the spermatids, and then the spermatids will be converted into mature sperm, which is known as spermatozoa. Spermatids will get converted into mature sperm, which are known as spermatozoa. Okay, and then this spermatozoa will be released from seminiferous tubules, which this process is known as spermiation. The release of spermatozoa from the seminiferous tubule is known as spermiation. Okay, we have learned up to this. Okay, so we will learn further in this process, which is known as spermatogenesis. So we will say that spermatogenesis has two steps. Spermatogenesis has two steps. First step is spermatocytogenesis and second step is known as spermiogenesis. Okay, first step is known as spermatocytogenesis and second step is known as spermiogenesis. So right from here, right from spermatogonia to spermatid production, this much step or these steps are included in the spermatocytogenesis. Okay, right from the mitosis of spermatogonia up to the development of spermatid, these steps are included in spermatocytogenesis. Okay, so up to the development of spermatids, we will call it as spermatocytogenesis. We will call this process as spermatocytogenesis. And then from the spermatid, the spermatozoas are produced. From spermatids, spermatozoas are produced. This process is known as spermiogenesis. Okay, this process is known as spermiogenesis. So what is spermiogenesis? Development of mature sperm from spermatid is known as spermiogenesis. It is known as spermiogenesis. Development of mature sperm from spermatid is known as spermiogenesis. And process of development of spermatids from spermatogonia is known as spermatocytogenesis. So there are two steps involved in the process of spermatogenesis. First is known as spermatocytogenesis and second is known as spermiogenesis. Development of spermatids from the spermatogonia is known as spermatocytogenesis. And development of mature spermatozoa from spermatid is known as spermiogenesis. Okay, and spermiation is also different. What is spermiation? Release of mature sperm from seminiferous tubule is known as spermiation. Release of mature sperm from seminiferous tubule is known as spermiation. So please learn these three terms well: spermatocytogenesis, spermiogenesis and spermiation. What is spermatocytogenesis? Production of spermatids from spermatogonia is known as spermatocytogenesis. Okay, then spermiogenesis. What is spermiogenesis? Production of mature spermatozoa from spermatids is known as spermiogenesis. And what is spermiation? Release of mature spermatozoa from seminiferous tubule is known as spermiation. Okay, so please learn these three terms well. Now let's learn this chart which is given in the textbook. Okay, earlier in the previous video I have not drawn this chart. Okay, today we will learn this chart well and then we will talk about spermiogenesis. Okay, sure. So spermatogonia are present on the inner lining of the seminiferous tubule. Okay, spermatogonia are present on the inner lining of the seminiferous tubule. Okay, and the first layer of the spermatogonia is that the lowermost layer of the cell is known as spermatogonia, and these spermatogonia are diploid in number. They are having 2n number of chromosomes. So they are diploid. They will divide by mitosis. When acted upon by testosterone, this spermatogonia will divide by mitosis and they will give rise to two cells, and these two cells will again divide by mitosis and then they will produce primary spermatocyte. So this primary spermatocyte is diploid in nature. Why? Because it has been produced by mitosis. It has been produced by the process of mitosis from spermatogonia. So primary spermatocytes are diploid in number. Okay. Now this one primary spermatocyte is entering into the first round of meiosis and then it is entering into the second round of meiosis. Okay. So when this primary spermatocyte completes its first round of meiosis, it will give rise to secondary spermatocyte. And these secondary spermatocytes are haploid in number. Okay. one primary spermatocyte. One primary spermatocyte, when completes first round of meiosis, it produces two secondary spermatocytes, and these secondary spermatocytes are haploid in number because meiosis 1 is reductional division. Meiosis 1 is reductional division. So chromosome number will be reduced to half in secondary spermatocyte. Chromosome number will be reduced to half in secondary spermatocyte, and then both these secondary spermatocytes will complete the second round of meiosis. Both these secondary spermatocytes will complete the second round of meiosis, and then they will produce four spermatids. Then they will produce four spermatids. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four spermatids are produced, and all these four spermatids are haploid in number. They are haploid in number. Here four spermatids are there and they are haploid in number. Why? Because meiosis 2 is equational division. Meiosis 2 is equational division. Meiosis 1 is reductional division, whereas meiosis 2 is equational division. So four spermatids are produced after the second round of meiosis. Okay. So in this manner, up to this step, right from here up to this step, this process is known as spermatocytogenesis. Okay, this process is known as spermatocytogenesis. Now what we have to do, we have to produce mature spermatozoa from the spermatid, and this process is known as spermiogenesis. That process is known as spermiogenesis. Production of mature spermatozoa from spermatid is known as spermiogenesis. You can easily differentiate between spermatid and sperm, as spermatids are not having flagella. And mature sperm are having flagella. Okay, and the shape of the head of the sperm is oval, and here round shaped cell is there. So spermatid is round in shape, whereas spermatozoa has tail. Whereas spermatids don't have tail. Okay, so this is the difference between mature spermatozoa and spermatid. Okay, so four spermatids will be produced from one primary spermatocyte. One primary spermatocyte will give rise to how many spermatids? 4. One secondary spermatocyte will give rise to 2 spermatids. Please remember this. One primary spermatocyte will produce 4 spermatids, and one secondary spermatocyte will produce 2 spermatids. Okay, one primary spermatocyte will produce 4 spermatids, and one secondary spermatocyte will produce only 2 spermatids. Okay, this is their difference. This is the difference between the primary spermatocyte and secondary spermatocyte. Now let's learn this process. This process is known as spermiogenesis. See, this is a spermatid is there. Okay, this is a spermatid. Okay, and it is a round shaped cell. Okay, this spermatid is round in nature. Now what will happen? First of all, there will be change in nucleus. The nucleus will be changed. Okay, the nucleus will change its shape and it will lose water. This nucleus will lose water. So what will happen here? That nucleus will change its shape by losing the water. There will be loss of water from the nucleus. And then the DNA and RNA will get shrunk. Okay, DNA and RNA will get shrunk. So the nucleus will change its shape and it will become oval. Nucleus will become oval or pyramid-like. Okay. Initially in the spermatid, this is a spermatid. Is there. Okay. So this spermatid is having round nucleus, but when this nucleus loses water, it will become pyramid-like. Okay. And as its DNA has got condensed, DNA has got condensed, and RNA has also become condensed, and that's why the nucleus has changed its shape in form of pyramid. So nucleus has become pyramid-like. Okay. Then, so this is the first change in the spermatid. That nucleus will change its shape by losing the water and by condensation of the DNA and RNA. Okay. So nucleus has changed its shape. Then the second step is acrosome formation. What will happen in acrosome formation? See, this spermatid is having Golgi body over here. Okay. These spermatids are having Golgi body in their cytoplasm. This Golgi body will get settled in the front part of the nucleus. Golgi body will get settled in the front part of the nucleus. So here they will get settled in the front part of the nucleus. Okay, so Golgi body has got settled in the front part of the nucleus, and then this Golgi body gets modified. Golgi body gets modified in form of acrosome. Golgi body will get modified in form of acrosome. Okay, Golgi body will get modified in form of acrosome. Initially they were present over here, then they migrated to this region, and then they have formed this structure which is known as acrosome. This structure is known as acrosome. And as the nucleus has changed its shape, so nuclear cell membrane will also change its shape. Okay, as the nucleus has changed the shape, the cell membrane will also change its shape. So in this manner, the cell membrane will get arranged. Okay, cell membrane will get arranged in this manner. Okay, cell membrane has also changed its shape. Initially, cell membrane was present in circular form. Here, the cell membrane has become pyramid shape. Okay, or has got pyramid shape. Okay. Sure. Now both these centrioles will migrate on the posterior part of the nucleus. Centrioles will migrate to the posterior part of the nucleus, and both these centrioles will be settled on the posterior part of the nucleus. Okay, both these centrioles will get lodged, or they will get settled on the posterior part of the nucleus. Okay, so we are talking, so acrosome has been produced. Okay, acrosome formation has been completed. We are talking about this process. And this process has 3 steps: change in nucleus, acrosome formation, and tail formation. We have talked about this, that nucleus loses water and then it changes its shape due to condensation of the DNA and RNA, and nucleus becomes pyramidal shape. Okay. Then we have talked about acrosome formation, that Golgi body which are present over here will get settled on the front part of the nucleus, and then they will form acrosome. Okay, and as the nucleus has changed its shape to this, the cell membrane will also change its shape in this manner. And now we are talking about the third step of the spermiogenesis, that is tail formation. What happens during tail formation? Both centrioles will get settled on the posterior part of the nucleus. Both centrioles will get settled on the posterior part of the nucleus, and this is known as proximal centriole. This is known as distal centriole. This is known as proximal centriole, and this is known as distal centriole. Okay, and from this distal centriole, what will be formed? From this distal centriole, tail will be produced. Okay, tail will be produced from what? Tail will be produced from the distal centriole. Okay, tail will be formed from the distal centriole. So distal centriole will produce tail. Distal centriole will produce tail. Okay, so distal centriole will get deactivated. Okay, distal centriole will get lost. Okay, because it produces tail, so distal centriole will get lost. And on this part, the mitochondria will get arranged in spiral form. Mitochondria will get arranged in the spiral form. Okay, on this part, the mitochondria will get arranged in the spiral manner. So this part is known as midpiece. This part is known as midpiece. This part is known as head. This part is known as head, and this part is known as tail. This part is known as tail, and this is known as mature sperm. This is known as mature sperm. Initially it was like this, it was in form of spermatid. Now it has attained this shape. This shape, and process of gaining this shape is known as spermiogenesis. Okay, this process of changing the shape of spermatid is known as spermiogenesis. Now this mature spermatozoa will get released from the seminiferous tubule. Mature spermatozoa, this is known as mature spermatozoa. It will get released from the seminiferous tubule, and this process is known as permeation. That is known as permeation. Okay, so mature spermatozoa has head, midpiece, and tail. Mature spermatozoa has head, tail, and midpiece. On midpiece, spirally arranged mitochondria are there. In head, one nucleus is there, which is having haploid number of chromosomes. 23 number of chromosomes are there. In the front part of the nucleus, acrosome is present, and this acrosome helps the sperm to penetrate the ovum. The acrosome, which is present in the front part of the nucleus, helps sperm to penetrate the ovum because it releases the enzyme called hyaluronidase. This will release enzyme called hyaluronidase. So acrosome will help sperm to penetrate the ovum, and then here tail part is there. Okay, so this is known as mature spermatozoa, and process of release of this mature spermatozoa from seminiferous tubule is known as spermiation. Okay, and then when during the sexual activity, this spermatozoa will pass from red testes to vasa efferentia, then from epididymis, to vas deferens, and then from vas deferens to it they will come into the ejaculatory duct, and then from ejaculatory duct they will pass through urethra, and then through urethra they will come out from the urethral meatus of the penis. So this is known as transport pathway of the sperm. What is the transport pathway of the sperm? They are produced in seminiferous tubules. Then they will pass through red testes, they will pass through vasa efferentia, then they will pass through epididymis, then they will pass through vas deferens, then they will pass through ejaculatory duct, then they will pass through urethra, and then through urethral meatus they will come out. Okay, during the ejaculation of the semen. The sperms will come out along with the seminal plasma. During the ejaculation of the semen, the sperms come out with seminal plasma. So what is semen? Semen is equal to seminal plasma plus sperm. And each ejaculation has 200 to 300 million sperm in it, or during each ejaculation 200 to 300 million sperms are released. Okay, during each ejaculation 200 to 300 million sperms are released, and in this semen 60% sperm should be morphologically normal. They should be normal morphologically, and they should be normal in the motility. 40%, at least 40% sperm should have normal motility, and at least 60% sperm should have normal morphology. Okay, what we are saying about ejaculation. Per ejaculation, how many sperms are released? 200 to 300 million sperms are released per ejaculation. Out of this, at least 60% sperm should have normal morphology, and 40% sperm should have normal motility. Otherwise, the male will suffer from infertility. If the 60% sperms are not having normal morphology and 40% sperms are not having vigorous motility or normal motility, then the male will suffer from infertility. Okay, and as a function of the accessory ducts are maintained by the androgens released from the Leydig cells. Function of the accessory ducts are maintained by the androgens released from the Leydig cell. What are accessory ducts? Like red testes, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct. These are known as accessory ducts. Okay, sperms will pass through these ducts, and function of these ducts are maintained by the androgens released from the Leydig cell. Okay, so this is all about spermatocytogenesis and spermiogenesis. Here we have finished our topic of spermatogenesis. In the next video, we will begin the process of oogenesis. Okay, so please watch the video 2-3 times and then read it from the textbook. Okay, bye bye.